after we filmed Amazing Race, it was one of the opportunities that came to us. It was a friend of my teammates who trains a lot of celebrities in Hollywood and was like, hey, the Malibu Triathlon is in September. Would you guys like to be on a celebrity relay team? We can either you can have your own team and be like the reality team, or each of you can race individually on like a team with a celebrity. And so that was my first experience at a triathlon. I got bullied by Kim into doing the swim because they got another reality contestant or she was actually the host of a show, to be on our team. And so Kim was like, well, you're swimming because I'm cycling. And then Amy was running. And so that was like, I'd never swam in the ocean before. I was like fearless. I was like, oh, but I was just confident and fearless enough, I guess, to just, excited enough to just like dive on in the ocean. And like, people will not sign up for the Malibu Triathlon because they're scared of the waves. And I look back and I'm like, knowing what I know now, that was not the smartest move, but like, I'm glad I did it because when I finished that, I was like, oh my God, I love it. And so the rest is history there. I did that. And it was like, I did the sprint, a month later, and then an Olympic distance a couple months after that.
That's awesome. Yeah. The triathlon thing is interesting. So I, years ago, jumped into my first triathlon too, kind of along the same lines of it's Kim, right? Asked you to do the race. Who once was my business partner, my good friend at the time, this was probably 15 years ago, had approached me at work one day and she's like, hey, do you want to do a triathlon? And I'm like, sure. And she's like, do you want to do an Ironman? And I'm like, my naive self. And I'm like, sure. Not really thinking about the fact that I hadn't done a triathlon ever. I was jumping into single-handedly the biggest one. But it was fine. You build this whole community of people to train with and you figure it out. But I'll never forget, we got roughly 900 yards into the swim and both of us go into a straight panic attack. And I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I'm like hanging on to the edge of a boat and I'm freaking out. And she swims over to me. She's like, we did not train for 11 months to make it 900 yards in the swim. Pull your shit together. Let's go.
Oh my God. That's so common though. Panic attacks are a real thing.
It's a horrible thing, especially.
I had one once.
Oh, they're terrible.
They're horrific. And they happen to the most elite of athletes too. And you can never have a panic attack ever. And then you decide to do a triathlon, you've put in the training, you've done the work. And then all of a sudden it's like,
yep.
So Did you finish?
Yeah, we finished. We decided the key we learned is to roll onto the back and do a little backstroke, calm your nerves, pull your shit together, and then carry on. And it was fine. It's like, we knew how to swim. We'd been training the whole time, obviously. I learned how to swim when I was 4. But yeah, something just went off in our head and we both panicked. But we had each other, which is always nice when you have somebody to train with or a group of people. I actually did New York Marathon in it was supposed to be the year Hurricane Sandy went through. And I was already there. And they canceled it last minute and all that good stuff. So I actually had the privilege to run with New York Roadrunners, and we did this volunteer effort in Staten Island. So we ran around Staten Island the day of the race and volunteered our time to, help people clean out their basements or whatever it was, because it was such a terrible tragedy of the hurricane going through people, just wrecking people's lives. So, but then I ended up getting to run it a couple years later. But I think New York Marathon is single-handedly the hardest marathon. I mean, you go into it with this mindset of like, it's New York, it's a city. I live in Chicago. It's flat as a pancake. And then I got to New York and you have these bridges that extend for half mile or more, and you're running up a 6-7% grade for the entire thing. And you have multiple bridges to run across. And then you get into Central Park at the end and you think you're off the hook. And then, that race is brutal, but one of the coolest races in the world at the same time. So that's cool that you got to run that.